Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the political vigilante, the vigilante. So there's a lot of cries for defund the police, and rightfully so. And some cities are starting to step up. And the obvious criticisms are coming from the right-wingers that are like, think defund the police means no more money for any sort of police and just let lawless reign. That's how Fox News is depicting that, autonomous zone in Seattle is just, there's a thug rapper handing out guns, of course they're going to react that way. But the real obstacle to defunding the police, which defunding the police means, like in Los Angeles, they get 54% of the city's operating budget, $3.1 billion. What defund the police means is let's at least cut that in half and give that $1.5 billion, $3 billion, $1.5 billion. Let's give that to social programs. Let's give that to the homeless. Let's give that to education. Cops shouldn't have to deal with homelessness and poverty and mental illness and lack of schools and all. They shouldn't have to deal with that. So that's what defunding really means. But the main obstacle, guess what, kids? This is going to sound like a shocker if you've been watching this show for any amount of time. It's the Democrats. What? They've been so there to help us. This is in Politico. Defund the police faces skepticism even in deeply liberal cities. City budget fights pit activists against Democratic politicians. This is what I want to say to any activists out there, people getting involved for the first time. Middle-class white kids, whatever. You're like, I want to be involved in the Black Lives Matter defund the police campaign. Great. But do not think for a second the Democratic Party is going to come to the rescue of this. They will not. Joe Biden has already said he's not going to defund the police. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. So that's on the federal level. But even on the local level, many of cities with the highest number of law enforcement per capita on the payroll are urban areas with progressive mayors. Los Angeles is one of them. Eric Garcetti, big Democrat, I'm resisting Trump. He won't call out police brutality. His own police department. We had Fiorella from the Convo Couch on the show telling us she was shot at, jailed during George Floyd protests the last week of May. Again, LAPD gets 54% of the city's total operating budget. We have people in tent cities. Studies have been shown white neighborhoods get more funding for schools than black neighborhoods across the board in America, but especially in LA. The black and brown neighborhoods don't get as... I've seen it. I've driven through. I've seen their high schools. I'm a Red Cross volunteer. I've helped set up shelters for various things, and I've been in those schools and gone. And then I'm in the schools in the nice white neighborhoods. I'm like, wow, this is really nice. We have a Democratic governor here. The mayor in Seattle is a corporate Democrat, and Kashwama Sawant, who's a socialist, was like, he needs to be impeached. It's happening all over the country. It was a lot of Democratic mayors that rolled out the National Guard. It was Democratic mayors that gave their police chiefs a green light to show up with riot gear. And these Democratic mayors won't call out the brutality of their own police forces, and they don't want those budgets cut because they profit from it. Including many women and people of color and Democratic majorities on the city council. So this notion, it's the Republic. No, see? The militarization of police is a bipartisan benefit, just like both parties on the federal and foreign policy level are for war. Bernie Sanders has even voted for some wars. Come on. Democrats in the House and the Senate have voted to increase Trump's war budget. It's the same thing. I tell you guys this all the time. The way we fund all of our wars and bomb all these poor people of color throughout the world with our drones, we outspend the next 10 countries combined. It's the same model on the local level. We give the cops all the money, and there's always, how are we going to pay? We can't pay for schools. There's not money for schools. There's not money for libraries. There's not money for the homeless. There's not money for social programs. There's not money for job training. There's no money for it. But we got money to give cops in LA make about $100,000 a year. They make more than teachers. They make more than... What does that say about our society? It's an embarrassment. We always got money for new prisons. We always got money for up-armored, one cop car costs $100,000. But we can't feed the These are Democratic mayors doing this too. On top of, we know the Republicans are awful. This myth that the Democrats are somehow better is a joke. And liberals, you need to wake the fuck up. Yeah, Trump's awful. He's awful. But how did he get to power? The Democrats let it happen. And if you don't call out the Democrats that are bullshitting you on a local level, I live in Santa Monica. Female mayor, female chief of police, our second female chief of police in a row. This one's a white one. The chief of police before was this black woman. Oh, wow, diversity, we've done it. Inclusion. No, we still had a bunch of roided out meatheads who showed up in riot gear for a peaceful protest and then didn't protect downtown Santa Monica and let looting happen. Idiots. Idiots. Local leaders have the power to limit funding for some of the nation's largest police forces and reallocate that money for programs that shrink the wealth gap and provide stable housing, access to jobs, and health care. You won't need a militarized police force if you lift people up. And let me tell you something, whiteys that are scared of equality, giving everyone equality doesn't mean you get less equality. Everybody gets health care and good schools. You don't get less of it. It's not pie. It's not like they get a bigger slice of the pie. Equality is everybody gets it. It's better for your community. If you're a scared Second Amendment white person, well, I need my gun to protect myself. You should want better schools. You should want less money for cops. You should want homeless people getting off the streets and getting jobs and health care. You should want that. That's a better society. All that looting and rioting that happened, a lot of it was just people pissed off. Because economically, they got nothing. I saw these young kids, they were having a grand old time. It wasn't about George Floyd. Yeah, because they've been screwed over and they don't give a shit. And stealing a couple boxes of shoes, while I'm not happy looting happened, it broke my heart and I don't want to see a small business owner lose their job. I understand it. Why did they have several boxes of shoes? Because they can sell them on the street. My town, Santa Monica, nice city, got looted. And I've been to South Central Los Angeles, which is primarily a black and Latino neighborhood. You know what they don't have in South Central? Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Pilates, yoga, nice day spas, dog day spas, smoothie places, people, selling $2,000-$3,000 bicycles. They don't have that nice shit down there. And what's our solution to that? Just give the cops more militarized equipment? No. We need to give them. We need to shrink the wealth gap. We need to provide stable housing. There's not even affordable housing in LA. There's these multi-million-dollar, with these these $100 million projects or whatever. They get 0% financing, these development companies, and they build there's these luxury apartment buildings all over Los Angeles. They're barely even occupied. They have $4,000, $5,000, and $6,000 one-bedroom apartments. But gee, we can't figure out how to find housing for these people living in tents. Getting people off the streets makes your city better. It increases your property value. It helps you as a small business owner. It makes the streets safer. Right now there's a health issue. When people are just going to the bathroom in the streets, it's awful. How about, I don't know, treat people with dignity? Is that a crazy idea? Or just get more guns? These are very blue places, yet we're still seeing this kind of dynamic with police spending skyrocketing and cuts to community resources and community-led programs, said Kumar Rao, who's from the Center for Popular Democracy, a liberal Brooklyn-based advocacy group. This is a political issue on one level, but it's very much a bipartisan problem. And I've said, be careful. They're going to try to give you little window dressing, little table scrap reforms that are nothing. They're just little things to placate you to shut up, to go back to your life and don't protest and stop bugging your city council and stop bugging your... That's what they want you to do. So they do bullshit like this. Mayor Muriel Bowser had Black Lives Matter painted on the street leading to the White House. But you know what else Bowser has done? She's proposed a 3% increase to $578 million in police spending in the city's fiscal 21-21 budget. She said on NPR, she's not budging off of that. Oh, thanks. So she had Black Lives Matter painted on the street. Activists wrote defund the police across it. That's some peaceful nonviolent resistance I'm down with. Budgets are moral documents, right? They say what our values are, Rashad Robertson, executive director of the racial justice organization Color for Change. I want you to listen to this last quote, because this tells you how out of whack we are spiritually and morally, that we have lost our soul. America has lost its way. We are a sick, right-wing, authoritarian country that spends more money on military. We would rather militarize cops than help somebody living in the street? What kind of awful world is that? Beyond any rhetoric, beyond words, they tell the story of what we actually hope to achieve by what we are putting money in. And far too often, when we have problems in our society, we seek to solve them with people and guns. These budgets reveal what we hope to achieve. So when 54% of our budget goes to police, what we hope to achieve is more police brutality, more people getting arrested. We're not hoping to make society better. And we need to hold these leaders accountable. Get on a city council, run as a socialist, don't run as a Democrat. The Democratic Party is awful and corrupt, just like the Republican Party. Trump is an authoritarian. He's a sociopath fascist. He's a fascist, out of his mind fascist. But Joe Biden won't be much better. And if Biden wins, great, whatever. But this is what I'm talking about, the local level. Vote out these corporate Democrats. Get a socialist in there. Get a Democratic socialist. Get a Movement for a People's Party person in there. Get a Green Party member in there. Then you'll get some change. Vote them out. Hold them accountable. Get rid of them. We'll talk about this quote, which is amazing, the morality and what it says about our society. We have more people in prison than any industrialized nation in the world. What does that say about our society? Shouldn't we be number one in education? Shouldn't we have the lowest number of police deaths at the hands of the police? Shouldn't we have the smallest prison population? We're the richest country in the history of the world. Shouldn't everybody have great health care? Shouldn't we have the lowest infant mortality rate? We actually have the highest infant mortality rate of any industrialized nation. We have people living in third world conditions in this country, in the inner cities, in rural areas, poor white people, on the Navajo reservation, on Native American reservations. People living in third world conditions. Something is wrong with the economic system of our nation. Something is wrong with capitalism. Maybe America must move toward democratic socialism. We must develop programs that will drive the nation to the realization of the need for a guaranteed annual income. MLK 1966. How come this speech, we don't hear it that often? MLK Day, we always hear that I Have a Dream, great speech, but we don't hear this one about democratic socialism. We don't hear his speeches criticizing capitalism. We don't hear his speeches, the Poor People's Campaign, and criticizing money spending for war. Bobby Kennedy talked about that. Oh, weird, they both got killed the same year. Huh. Defund the police. Social programs. You don't send an armed cop to deal with homeless. Have somebody that has healthcare training and mental health training. And then don't put them on a cot in a shelter. Put them in an apartment. Have people go to really nice public schools so they're proud of their school, rather than just be incarcerated and get no funding and no give a shit. Why do you cut arts programs and math and science programs? The kids in the rich neighborhoods get all those programs, but why don't the inner city kids of color get that? It would make our whole society better. If everyone in Los Angeles was taken care of, nobody would have needed to loot blocks from where I'm standing right now. We wouldn't need Black Lives Matter protests because we realized that the police, we've defunded the police. Let's try to envision that future. Black people don't need to say my life matters because we realize, yeah, You shouldn't, they just, and people go, all lives matter. Black Lives Matter isn't saying it matters more than your white life. It's saying it should matter just at least as much, because right now it doesn't. If you live in an all-white community, in a poor rural community where there's a meth or an opioid problem, and there's white people who are poor and gangs and there are those areas in America, absolutely. Guess what? They're overfunding the police in your neighborhood too. Thanks for coming here for the truth. Shave your knuckles for justice. Hey everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/GrahamElwood or rockfin.com/GrahamElwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.